so let's jump into Aaron Rodgers. Where do things currently stand with him, Albert?
Yeah, I know the Steelers felt pretty optimistic yesterday that they'd be the choice. The Giants have continued to make a push there, and I think as he usually does, Aaron is kind of private about his own feelings on this, and so this is really going to be up to him, what he wants to do. I had thought Minnesota's had a lot of like creative discussions about what they're going to do at quarterback. I'd be surprised if it was Minnesota at this point. But I mean, I think for the Steelers or Giants, they want an answer at the same time. That's probably not the right guy to push for an answer. So, we'll see what happens. But I think it's really between those two, and only Aaron knows what he's going to do. And I think they both, present enticing situations for him.
So, walk me through what you think he might be thinking. How does that sound?
Well,
as a setup.
Yeah, I mean, I think like proof of concept's important now. I think we're all sort of beholden to our own history. And he took a chance a couple of years ago on going to a Jets team that hadn't won in a long time and thinking I can be the final piece and I can make a difference. That is essentially what he'd be doing with the Giants, right? Like, so does he want to do that, or does he want to go to a place that's established, that hasn't had a losing season in a generation, and that has a lot of stars that are ready to compete for a championship and have been in playoff games, and a lot of them haven't won playoff games, but there's going to be a sense of urgency there that's not just tied to Aaron Rodgers himself. It's that TJ Watt is going to turn 31 years old. It's that Minkah Fitzpatrick's going to turn 29 years old. Finally looks like they've got the offensive line right. They've got an experienced offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith there, who's made, offenses work for different types of quarterbacks. There's a lot to like about the Steelers situation. At the same time, vengeance can be a factor, and the idea of maybe doing it for the Giants, right down, what is it, I-80 there in Jersey, from his old team, and going to a place where you can be the difference. I think there'd be some appeal to that too. So, if I had to guess right now, I might say the Steelers have a slight edge just because, again, like it's the more ready-made situation. You're guessing less on what's going to happen there. But the Giants certainly, have their hat in the ring and have a really good chance at it too.
Listen, I think he and Daboll would mesh, right? And yeah, I think obviously throwing to Malik Neighbors would mesh. Certainly, if third overall they don't go quarterback and go Travis Hunter, I mean that would be obviously somebody he would throw to. Right. And he doesn't have to move if he does really like the New York market. There is that. And I understand that, if there is a revenge factor with the Jets, the fact that he's sitting there in the building and look, I could do for them what I could have done for you if you'd stuck with me. But then you see the Steelers, and the Steelers are unlike the Jets in the way that the Giants are kind of like the Jets, where if Rodgers doesn't do it, the whole house is cleaned. Everybody's job depends on him. Not so with the Steelers. The Steelers do have a bunch of people who are closer in his age contemporary that you mentioned, like TJ Watt and Hayward and Minkah Fitzpatrick. Tomlin and him could vibe. And in terms of, revenge, look at who the Steelers play. I mean, it's the NFC North. He could go right back one more time in the NFC North for Auld Lang Syne. They play the Jets in New Jersey. The Packers are, from what I'm hearing, in Dublin. You know what I mean? Like it could be a worldwide tour. The Vikings, the Dolphins, the Bills. I mean, the Seahawks as well. I mean, this is a big time.
Rich, you're talking me into it now. Like I'm getting kind of excited here.
I mean, so if you're saying there's a choice for him, it's not like whether the teams are on the fence about bringing him in. These are his choices.
Right. No, again, only he knows. Only he knows. But, like they're both all in to get him. Yes. Like, and they're both like optimistic about their chances, and they both feel good about the situations they're presenting him. And I mean, I think it's kind of interesting because are they both up a creek if they don't get him?
That was what my follow-up was, is what is the plan B for each team if they don't, one team is going to have to turn to plan B. What would it be?
Yeah, so like for the Giants, I think they would look at Russell Wilson. They had him back. They had him last year, in for a visit. And then I think that the next, step would obviously be the draft as well. Now, part of the problem for the Giants is they have no way to control their situation. And let's say they only like Cam Ward, right? Like, which is where I think some teams are right now as far as who would be worth a top 5 or top 10 pick. They have no control over whether or not he gets to them. They would have to either trade up to one or just hope that the Titans and Browns don't go quarterback, and that's a tough spot to be in. So it could work out for them, but it might not. You certainly, I don't think, can rely on that as your plan. Hope isn't a plan. So I think that the Giants would have to find a way to backstop that with some sort of veteran quarterback. And I think regardless of what they do, whether it's Rodgers, Wilson, or some other veteran, and I don't know who that would be right now, I think that they would plan on taking a quarterback high. Now, it might not be with a third overall pick if they wind up signing one of those guys. It could be like a Jackson Dart on day 2, but I do think they would plan on putting a quarterback in that pipeline. The Steelers are murkier to me. I I would just say, like, there are some people that aren't keen on the idea of having Russell Wilson back there next year. And so, could they do it? Yes. Could those fences be mended? Yes. There's just some stuff that happened at the end of the year where I don't know, like, how the Steelers are going to put their belief in that. And again, like, I like Russ as a player. He's accomplished a lot, but I'm not sure that relationship is in the best place and has been in the best place. And so, what does that look like if they are bringing him back? I think that's really murky. And the hard thing for them is they let Justin Fields go. So Justin Fields is now a Jet. And then I think, one of their plan Bs would have been Daniel Jones. I think Sam Darnold was probably always too expensive. Like, they like Sam and they wanted to take a swing on Sam. I don't know that they would have gone to the level that the Seahawks went to. I mean, but would they have gone with Daniel Jones if, like, the Aaron Rodgers thing fell through on Monday? I think they might have looked at that. So, yeah, I think they're in a little bit of murky territory if they don't wind up landing Rodgers.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.